And he's also got Pluto and the Moon in co-joining positions. No wonder he's a very complicated theosophical sort of a fellow. But I can say one thing for you, William. You are going to meet your hardest year of your destiny this year. And that's my prediction.
How do you react to this, Dr. Gray? You weren't expecting this, I bet. You thought you were coming along for a pleasant philosophical chat.
Yeah, I'm certainly greatly surprised and amazed by the depth of Milton Black's research, as a matter of fact. But I have to say, with the greatest respect, that I find it fairly unpersuasive.
I think you should go home to bed and stay there for the rest of the year. But you find it unpersuasive?
I find it unpersuasive, but I will certainly take this excessively heavy workload up with my head of department.
Can I just add to that? This is an astrology book on transits, okay, which is what we've been talking about. And I'll just read you what the influences are straight out of that book. The difficulties are going to be strong inattentions, cause sudden disruptive behaviour, intolerance of others, disagreements, impulsive and destructive acts, violent conflicts, possibility of accidents or operations, and this depends on other things which are in the chart, which I haven't got, and find a physical outlet for your pent-up energy. Now, when you see an aspect like that in a person's chart, we now say to them, but this is what you should be doing. Use that strong drive to achieve aims, assertiveness and forcefulness, seek independence from authoritarian restrictions, a good time to learn new skills and handle machinery, seek to fulfill those inner urges. And that would then be discussed by an astrologer with the person that they are with, and what we would be doing would be to make an assessment from what we know from the whole of the chart and putting together those actions, senses, mental processes and the emotions that we can see interacting, and then ask you to comment on those in order to give us a more direct line to what the problem really is. And we can do that very, very well indeed.
That's the biggest difference between, say, column astrology and going to see an astrologer, because an astrologer will look at the chart, will discuss your life, what's in it, and with predictive stuff, work out where you should be or how to get the best out of where you're at.
Yes, okay, that brings us to I think probably the crucial point in all this. You've made the distinction between the columns that we see in the papers and magazines and a more detailed reading of your astrological chart. Now, the Skeptics Association is going to take a submission to the Press Council to get the papers and magazines to put a disclaimer on these columns that you people write saying, entertainment only, not to be taken seriously. Right? Now, is this... I mean, to what extent... Just to what extent, I asked the consumers whether they took it seriously, and some do and some don't, and some do some of the time. But to what extent should people take it seriously? And we come back to this point about how can you possibly make predictions that can affect millions of people who happen to be reading their destiny.
It's simple, you can't.
So is it just entertainment?
So you agree with the You agree with
Athena?
You agree with this submission?
Basically, yes.
Sorry, just over here, please. Over here, please.
I have a philosophy about life. I say to those who believe no proof is necessary, to those who disbelieve no proof is possible. The people who do want to find some sort of insight from reading their astrology column are going there because I believe they're directed there. I don't think people are interested in something like I'm interested in and I've devoted my life to by accident. It's part of me. I believe in astrology because I believe. And it doesn't matter what anyone told me, the scientific proof. I've observed it and I believe for myself. And the sort of people who want to look in a column will look for that sort of message, and it will be there for them if it's meant to be. There is a lot of belief structure in the daily column ones. It's not as scientific, it's not as well worked as the industrious, workings of the astrologer. But when I do my column, I get a lot of channeling, and I say a lot of things that are very instinctive. Now, if people don't want to read it, don't read the column.
But Athena, isn't there a danger that people who are going through a difficult period in their lives, people who have all kinds of problems, are going to reach out to a column like yours, say, looking for anybody, somebody, Athena, to find an answer to them? Yeah. And Father Murray tells us he's seen a great deal of harm done.
There's a recession going now. There's a lot of life crisis. The planets are shifting, the human consciousness is shifting. We're all in turmoil and strife, and if you look around, most people are sitting like this protecting themselves from the outside world. I believe that there are two levels, the human everyday level and the divine level. There's something magical that exists in life.
But is there a
astrology
danger
does
that
have
vulnerable
still.
people can put too much store by what they read in your columns? See,
Yes, I have an example.
What are
here.
they going to do? I mean, I don't know what you mean.
just a moment.
I have an example here where a woman has a serious medical condition, and this column lists the advice given by her astrologer.
That's an important American magazine.
It tells her to...
That is not Astrological
finish the
Monthly
sentence,
Review.
please, sir?
That is a foreign magazine. A day and a half
Tell her
out of
to
date.
count on transiting Jupiter
Throw it out of
Aquarius
the-
to
throw
bring
it
a
out of the
solution.
plan.
American astrologers are fraud.
Which is to do nothing.
That
Okay, is it an American
a foreign
magazine? Is it an American magazine?
Published in Australia.
It
Published
is
in
a foreign
Australia.
In Crow's Nest, in fact, which
It's
is
a
not far
foreign
from here.
magazine.
I mean, the point is,
Try it out.
would you people who read these columns, just a moment, please, would you consumers of these columns feel happier? Do you feel any need to put some sort of disclaimer on saying, don't take this too seriously? You
Put
don't.
it on everything that quotes a politician and every piece of editorial. Because they're just as likely to cause as much influence as the astrology
Disclaimer
column.
on this program.
Okay. Arthur Bowman. Where's Arthur Bowman?
Here.
Right.
Hidden away here. I've been trying to get a word in edgeways, and it's not easy. I'm here to tell you.
Not when you're sitting behind Ray Webb here.
And next, there's a lot of things I wanted to say, but I'll settle for a couple. Firstly, the good doctor said we're all looking for something that can give us something firm and definite and positive. Astrologers are the same. I would like something firm and positive and definite. I would like the skeptics to say astrology doesn't work, it's rubbish, it's bunkum, because bump, 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 bump. Not an airy wave of the hand and say, oh, lots of things have been done, oh, this and that. Give me facts, man, facts. Give me facts. If you want to say that it's wrong, tell me that it's wrong. But tell me why it's wrong. This is just such errant nonsense. You come in here, they come in here, they try to knock something they know nothing about. Not one of them has gone into any decent... John Clark here runs a school on astrology.
What about Dr.
and runs
Jeffrey
a very
Dean
good
in
one.
Perth?
Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you.
Will you accept
Will
Jeffrey
you
Dean?
shut
No,
up?
but just a moment. But look, Arthur, on the other hand, the astrologers haven't been able to prove either. I mean, you've certainly come up with some uncanny coincidences, but there has been no proof offered by any. And no proof can be offered until a more serious study is done.
Well, then let's not say
But I just want to go back to some of you people who said no, you felt it wasn't necessary to put a disclaimer on these columns, because I think you at the back there said no, it wasn't necessary. Why did you say no?
Well, I agree with what Athena was saying, that if you believe it and if you want to believe it and if you enjoy it, then it's harmless. There's a lot more things out there that are more harmless than reading the columns. I enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
And
what
I don't
about
think
some
there's
of you
any
others
harm.
who felt it wasn't necessary to put a disclaimer on? Why?
Every day we get millions of people looking at something like Neighbours, where you're basically being taught stereotyped, sexist, sort of horrible, nasty images. And you've got something here that says, look, there might be something a little better. Have a little read. If you want to believe it, fine. But you've got something that's visual there, projected on your television every night, that's bad for people. Seriously. And here you are degrading this thing. It's 26,000 years or 5,000 years, whatever of. There are many different cultures that have come up with many similar ideas, and to bunk it on the idea that you've got to prove it scientifically. An economist can't make a prediction, and a psychologist can't make a prediction about a person.
Okay, just one more person. Did you?
Yes. I just wanted to say, where in any of the astrology columns is there anything harmful written, for a start? They're never telling you to go out, commit crimes, do bad deeds. They're saying, watch your health. That's not bad advice for anybody. If you're under stress, which we all are in the recession, financial or otherwise.
We're in a recession because politicians listen to the...
Okay, I want to call in the results of our experiment here now very quickly, if we may, because I'm just interested in what totally unscientific results we might have thrown up here. Those of you who've got our précis there, would you just stand up, please, so I can go through you one by one? Okay, we'll take from the front and work back. Now, which of those pages, what number did you find best describes your personality and character?
Well, I hate to sort of slow down, but I discovered 3 described me when I first read it, then 4 described me. Then
They all describe you?
6 I thought described me fairly well. 7 had a couple of things. 9, I underlined half of 9 that I thought described me. I underlined 3/4 of 10
Which one would you be
me.
most likely to opt for?
And after all of them, 11 just beats it, especially with the line, your hair can be light or dark.
Okay. Okay, number 11 you opt for. So what is your star sign? Your sun sign?
Sagittarius.
You're Sagittarius. So what was 11? Gemini. Okay. You're Sagittarius and you picked a Gemini. Now, which number?
Well, I crashed between 5 and 7. They're pretty much of a muchness, but I finally decided on 5 because I'm a cranky bugger when I get going.
Okay, I'm 5.
So really number 5.
And what's your sign?
Well, I'm on a cusp, Aries, Taurus cusp.
Okay, well, you chose Sagittarius. Okay, yes, alongside.
It was either number 4 or 9, but number 9.
Number 9?
Is, yeah.
And what's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Oh, you chose Aquarius. Just behind you?
I chose number 7.
Number 7, and what's your sign?
Aries.
You've chosen. You've chosen Aries. Okay, so that's 1 so far. And alongside, what number did you?
I immediately picked 3.
Number 3.
And I'm a Leo.
And you chose a Leo. Okay, that's interesting. 2.
I chose 7, apart from a couple of sentences, especially deceptiveness and deviousness are entirely foreign to me. I'm a magician, so that.
Apart from the bad bits, that all the good bits applied to you. So what's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Okay, you chose an Aries. So that's 2 so far. Okay, what about over here? We'll start from the front again.
I chose number 6.
Number 6, and what's your
Capricorn.
sign? Okay, you chose correctly. That was the Capricorn. That's 3 we've got then.
Yeah, I chose number 4, but most of them sort of had similarities.
Number 4, but you could have read yourself into many of the others. And what's your sign?
Aries.
Aries. No, well, that was Cancer. Right. Okay, what's your sign first?
Cancer.
Cancer. And what did you choose? What number?
I chose number 4 and number 10. And I think the number 10 was more light-hearted, so I think I chose that, but I kept going back to number 4 to try and...
You kept going back to number 4. Okay, so you came back to Cancer.
I can agree with number 4, definitely.
Okay, that's interesting. And what's your sign?
I'm cusp Libra Scorpio, and I chose Cancer, which is number 4.
Number 4,
yeah.
right.
Number 9, I'm an Aquarian.
You're an Aquarian, wasn't it? And you chose correctly?
Number 9.
Okay.
I'm a Leo, and I really didn't choose any of them. I chose all of them. They're all...
Well, you see, I suspected that we would prove absolutely nothing, but I do find it interesting that a majority of you were able to read yourself in a number of those pieces. 3 or 4 of you there did choose quite accurately the précis of your personality.
But wouldn't you expect the people who chose the right one, though, if they knew more about astrology, they're more likely to know what they're supposed to pick?
Yes, it's a totally unscientific experiment. I was just very interested to see whether, if given a précis of the 12 signs, whether it was possible for you to pick your own characteristics if you didn't know what you were reading. But look, I think we've got to end the program on this point. It is a fascinating subject that clearly needs some serious research. One of the great difficulties I think researchers find, do they not, Dr. Kidman, is that when you're dealing with something like predictions, you're dealing with something notoriously unscientific, something notoriously unspecific, and so it's very difficult to come up with anything conclusive. But in the meantime, it's good to know that you astrologers welcome any serious investigation, and I do find it interesting that those consumers of newspaper columns and magazine columns don't find it necessary to insert a disclaimer because none of you take it too seriously anyway. Okay, thanks very much for the discussion. See you all again next week. Good night.